Hello and welcome. I'm Seth Manfield and I'm going to be recording some Modern today. It's going to be playing Mono Green Tron, and it is also going to be using the new London mulligan rule. So Tron actually benefits from that rule because what the rule is you get to as far as you mulligan, you're still looking at 7 cards, and then you're putting cards on the bottom of your deck to then resolve the mulligan, but you're still looking at 7 cards after the mulligan. So I'm probably not doing a great job of explaining the London mulligan rule because it's completely new. It's a new concept. I'll be showcasing it. I'm sure we're gonna mulligan at least a couple times in the games. I've been playing Tron for a while now, and I'm pretty familiar with it. I like it. We've got our 12 Tron lands. The goal each game is to assemble one of each Tron land. We need a mine, a power plant, and a tower. And we are playing mono green, so the forests are there, the ghost quarter, the sanctum is there, but really, it's an 18 land deck. We're focused on assembling Tron. We've got our spheres and stars. Those are kind of your cantrip artifacts. They allow you to produce green if you don't already have a forest. Expedition map is what we're looking for in terms of finding our Tron lands. Same with Sylvan Scrying. Ancient Stirrings, one of the most important cards in the deck. It can find you a land, or it can find you basically anything in the deck. Any colorless card. So it can also find threats. 3 copies of Relic of Progenitus. Great against the graveyard decks. And then we're going to start to get into some of our bigger cards that are important when once we actually get the Tron going. So there's one removal spell in the main deck, that's Dismember. And then we start to get into the big spells. We've got 4 copies of Oblivion Stone. Oblivion Stone is essentially a sweeper. If we want to play it and sacrifice it all in one go, we need 8 mana. But having like a Wrath type effect is really good against some of these swarm creature decks. 4 Wormcoil Engine. Gone from 3 up to 4 Wormcoils currently, and they've been impressive. They're your best card against Burn, against Death Shadow, decks like that. 4 copies of Karn Liberated. Amazing card. We can play that. One of each Tron land means we can turn 3 potentially a Karn or Wormcoil. We can have 7 mana on turn 3. That's basically the nuts with this deck. 2 copies of Ugin, the Spirit Dragon, 8 mana Planeswalker, a couple Walking Ballistas, and then we've got our Ulamogs, kind of our big top end finisher, Ulamog. And keep in mind, we can search for these creatures with Sanctum of Ugin. In terms of the sideboard, my version has a bit more spot removal. I like these gut shots against small creature decks. Most creature decks in the format, actually, gut shots good. Spatial Contortion, similar story there. Surgical, it's good in the mirror. It's good against combo. It's at its best against dredge and graveyard decks. So it's a flexible card. Some lists play 2. I'm up to 3. 4 copies of Nature's Claim. Artifact and enchantment decks. Even with KCI gone, there's still a bunch of those decks that Nature's Claim is going to be good against, and it deals with all of the annoying cards like Damping Sphere, like Blood Moon, like cards that shut your deck down. Nature's Claim is what you're relying on. Thragtusk, good life gain option, also just a really annoying threat for control. 1 World Breaker, and 2 Thought Knots against the slower decks. So this is the Tron list I'm going to be playing. I think this deck was really good, and it just got better with the London the London mulligan rule. All right, looks like we are on the play. And so here's the hand. Power Plant, Forest, Wormcoil, Dismember, double scrying, O-Stone. I'm going to keep this because it's turn 4 Tron on the play. Can't always have the turn 3 Tron. I mean, yeah. Can't always have turn 3 Tron. We're not going to have it, but we're on the play. And not knowing the matchup. We also have the Dismember, which is a nice piece of interaction. Okay, well, if we're getting Inquisitioned, we're no longer guaranteed to have turn 3 Tron. I'm just going to scrying. Hope to get a... I guess I'll get a mine. Generally, you want tower to be the last one you find because it produces 3. Looks like another discard spell. This one is a Thoughtseize. So that's going to take... Actually, I don't know what that's going to take. We're probably playing against Jund. And if we draw the Tron land, if we find a way to get our tower, which we did, I think now we're in good shape. I actually should have played a land first, just in case our opponent had Stubborn Denial, but I don't think they're playing blue. Like if I thought I was playing against Grixis Death Shadow, I would definitely do that. Ooh, well that changes things. I was not expecting Field of Ruin out of Jund, that's for sure. Not very, very surprising, but also pretty good. I don't think that is typical in Jund decks as far as I'm aware. But it got us. So now we may need to top deck. I think I'm just gonna pitch Dismember. Like we might just have to go Sanctum next turn and hope to... Okay, so yeah, pitching the Dismember was right because we still at least have one big threat, but our opponents actually had a really good disruptive hand, but still found it. Still found the mine. The question is, what do we do with it? I kind of want to tick up in case our opponent has a Bloodbraid Elf. That play gets punished by... The tick up gets punished by Maelstrom Pulse, but our opponent could pretty easily have something like a Lightning Bolt or a Bloodbraid Elf. So I think that it's more likely for our opponent not to have Maelstrom Pulse. So I'm going to tick up. Actually, our opponent... We got a Lightning Bolt of our opponent. So if they tick up the Lily, we do have to lose our Sanctum of Ugin. And they had the Bloodbraid. Oh my gosh, they found the Maelstrom Pulse off the Bloodbraid. Oh, that's brutal. I still like the play. Did not work out, however. So now we're in some trouble. We're in top deck mode. We need to top deck. It's not it. We got one turn until we kind of are just dead, because now the Lily is going to beat us with the -6 of Liliana. All right, gives us a redraw. Come on, deck. Ooh. Might be one turn too late. Certainly we're casting it. It's not, it still could be enough. This Wormcoil Engine could still be enough. Like, our opponent needs to draw now more gas to answer it. Even with the Lily alt coming in. So that resolves. It's going to be interesting to see how our opponent separates these piles. So we can go all in. We have the option of going all in on the Wormcoil, or not going all in on this Wormcoil Engine. That's tough. So we could take Tower, Forest, Power Plant. Then we would also still get the trigger from the Wormcoil. We would get the Wormcoil trigger, which is kind of a big deal. And we could potentially find a mine still. I'm going to choose pile 1. I think it's... Actually, okay. Yeah, so I'm going to choose the... Yeah, I'm going to choose the Wormcoil pile. I actually meant to select the other pile. I'm not even gonna lie to you all. I meant to select the other pile, but we're going to go with this. And that sucks. Although we do get that trigger. Interesting. I think we would have been better off taking that other pile. But all is not lost. Lily is weird. I haven't actually played against the Lily alt that often. I guess I just misclicked. But we're going to play on. We've still got this lifelink worm. Inquisition does not do anything. Okay. All right. I like that. So we've got 2 towers in the graveyard and 1 power plant. So we want to get a power plant. We've got 2 towers now left in our deck. Six, 7 Goyf. All right, so we're gonna need to find this tower. No problem, right? Find a way to get Urza's tower out onto the battlefield. That's not gonna do it. Now, our opponent, unless they draw another creature or a removal spell, doesn't necessarily have great attacks, although that Tireless Tracker is pretty good. We desperately need this tower. Like this next turn, really. I mean, a Sylvan Scrying would be good. Inquisition does nothing. Okay, here it is. Interesting. Alright, well, I'm going to attack because I actually don't know if I'm supposed to play this Ballista. I'm not going to. There's a chance that our opponent just attacks here with both of these. And so if we play the Ballista for 2 and our opponent makes a bad attack, then we can actually just win. We just win with attacking with the worm. Our opponent doesn't know about the walking Ballista in our hand. Wow, this is crazy. This is crazy. Wow, what a crazy game. I don't think I played it properly. Or, I do think I played it properly, but maybe messed up on that Lily. But holding that Ballista, I think, just won us that game. Holding the Ballista for that one additional turn, it's hidden information. And our opponent just didn't play around it. That was a really interesting one. I love games like that. I need to figure out. I think I do that like every time with the Liliana. I'm sorry. I don't know how the game plays out. If we take the other pile, it's probably a completely different game. Especially since we drew the Urza's Mine for our next draw step, we would have had Tron. But anyways, let's go to the sideboard. We're not going to sideboard that much in this matchup, but I do like Thragtusk, and that's pretty much it. Like, we're just going to have to hope to get Tron. I know it sounds easy, right? But no, it's not. It's not easy. I'm going to take out... Oblivion Stone gets Inquisitioned, so I think I prefer Ugin, some of the bigger cards, to Oblivion Stone. Oblivion Stone is a nice sweeper, but I'm going to take 2 out for 2 Thragtusk. We're really not changing our deck that much in this matchup. We need to win game 1, which we did. Now our opponent already had Assassin's Trophies and Field of Ruin main deck. So they already had some stuff, but they may also now be boarding in Fulminator Mage as well. So we have a hand here that is going to really benefit from the London Mulligan rule. We don't have any Tron lands, so no Tron lands means Mulligan. And we've now found a 6 that is, well, 7 cards, but it's gonna be a 6. I'm gonna put 1 card on the bottom, and I'm just gonna put the Ulamog on the bottom. I think focus on the interaction, and then getting Tron. It sucks, but we can potentially find it later. Wonder what our opponent will select with this Thoughtseize. Our hand is pretty solid. Stirrings. I guess I can play map. Hopefully it doesn't get, like, Ancient Grudged. Would be worst case scenario. But luckily did not happen. So I'm just going to crack it rather than scrying. Is this a Fulminator Mage or Lily? Lily is pretty annoying. Pretty annoying. We saw that last game, how annoying Lily can be. Just gonna pitch the Dismember. Dismember is here for early, like, Tarmogoyfs and Dark Confidants. It's pretty odd that we just haven't seen those cards cast from our opponent. So we have the Tron. I don't know if I'm supposed to play this map here because it's vulnerable to artifact removal. So I'm just gonna pitch a Sylvan Scrying. They do have the Field of Ruin. So the Field of Ruin is gonna... Oh, and a Fulminator. Wow. That is pretty absurd. They have it all, literally. All of the things they could possibly want to disrupt us and stop us from Troning up. Pitch the Sylvan Scrying. This Fulminator is going to get sacrificed. That's going to prevent us from having Tron. And then the Field of Ruin can once again deny the Tron. I wonder if I'm supposed to... I think I am supposed to play this Chromatic Star. Yeah, I'm just going to play Star, play Map. We'll see if we can beat the Lily alt again. I think it's unlikely this game. Pitch it. They did draw another Liliana for turn. So we're going to make a green here. For some reason, our opponent hasn't Field of Ruined us yet. So that's just a mistake. If we draw, say... If we draw, say, a tower, it's really good. Unfortunate draw step there. So I'm going to go ahead and use the map to get the tower and then just play it. That way we can potentially top deck another Tron piece. If our opponent probably Field of Ruins us here. And then I'm curious if they will -6 that Liliana, or if they're going to try to wait for one more turn on it. If they -6, they're gonna go for the plus. So I'm gonna pitch the Ghost Quarter, and if we hope to just naturally draw tower. It's pretty unlikely to draw it because we already have 2 in the graveyard, and we already have a bunch of our scryings gone. So we did brick. Now they're gonna mine it. Yeah, I'm just gonna concede this. Because once after the minus, the Lily is still in play. Super unlikely that we can win from there. Yes, it's possible. But very, very unlikely, I think. So just going to scoop it up. Not making any changes based on play draw. We have a turn 3 Tron. We have turn 3 Tron with this hand. Power Plant, Tower, Map. That's already turn 3 Tron with those 3 cards. And then we have these Worm Coils. And it's pretty hard for our opponent to interact before turn 3. And other than Assassin's Trophy, Trophy would be the one way that they could stop us from having turn 3 Tron. Tarmogoyf does not stop us. So we are going to get Urza's Mine. Play out this Worm Coil. And I think I'll play out the Chromatic Sphere. Alright. That's fine. I'm interested what our opponent's gonna Thoughtseize. Scrying. So they're gonna try to deny us from having Tron. It's not gonna work. Or at least not immediately work. I think I popped this Chromatic Sphere in case we just find Tower off the top. Found a mine. So we're gonna get that Tower. Yeah, 1 mana short of being able to actually cast. To be able to actually cast the Worm Coil. Not sure if I'm supposed to blow up the relic or not at this particular moment. I'm not going to. Not sure if it's right or wrong. But the Tarmogoyf isn't particularly relevant. Our opponent needs to both now answer our hand, and they need to answer the Worm Coil engine on the board, and they just can't do it. So that's going to do it. So it looks like we're going to be on the play, and we have a keep because we have 2 Tron lands in this hand. 2 different ones, that is. We have a Power Plant and a Tower. We also have a Chromatic Sphere. So this is the type of hand that I just generally keep. Because we're looking for 1 Tron piece. We're looking for the Urza's Mine. And we have... If I didn't have this cantrip, I might consider mulliganing it, but... If we find Sylvan Scrying... Wow. Foundry Street Denizen. That is unexpected. Okay, so that can give us the Tron piece, except not immediately. Like we can play it and get Tron next turn, basically. I couldn't just play the Ballista. I'll just play it for 1 in case we need to ping away the Foundry Street Denizen. Our hand is so good. Our opponent would basically need a really nutty hand to beat us, but we can trade off Ballista for Denizen. And it looks like they may have that nutty hand. So it may be good that we played the Ballista. So yeah, that goes face. Okay, so our opponent actually didn't do that much with the Burning Tree Emissary. I'm still going to block. We're going to get Tron on turn 4. And at that point, we can start playing Worm Coil Engine, or we can pop Oblivion Stone, because we'll have 8 mana at our disposal. Search for Urza's Mine there with that Tower, and then we have this this map basically as insurance. Not really super important anymore to have that map. Had we drawn the Sylvan Scrying the previous turn, we would have had turn 3 Tron. Wow. Okay. Huh. Mountain, Devastating Summons, and Goblin Grenade. I feel pretty good about this one. I guess I could just Oblivion Stone. If I Oblivion Stoned, it would stop our opponent from drawing these cards. That's just mean. I like doing mean things. I don't know if it's right. I think it is right, though. Because with 0 cards left in hand, we don't care about this map. With 0 cards, there's no way that our opponent can cheese out a win now, I don't think. Without the Flame of Kel draws 2, and then if they drew like a bunch of burn or like some like, I don't know, craziness we could lose, maybe. This is just being super safe. Could actually Ulamog. Sure, I'll Ulamog first. Why not? Can't say no to good old Ulamog. Get rid of the mountains. And that was I felt pretty confident just from seeing that Foundry Street Denizen on turn 1 and seeing our opening hand that we were gonna win. We were gonna win that one, and we did. I don't think it was really that close. So sideboard, I don't know. I'm not super familiar with the Flame of Keld deck in Modern, but Relic doesn't seem super good. We want Spatial Contortion and Thragtusk, I think. Just life gain against mono red seems nice. We may also want Nature's Claim. I think we do want some number. It's an insurance card against Blood Moon, Damping Sphere. It also gets the Flame of Kelds. We can also use Nature's Claim on our own artifacts to gain 4 life. So I'm going to board those in. I'm going to cut 1 Ulamog, 1 Dismember, 1 Karn. Maybe just playing, and 1 Oblivion Stone. I'm just going to shave a bunch of things on the draw. I feel like our opponent's going to maybe have a Sphere or a Blood Moon. And it feels real bad if they have it and you don't have an answer at all in your deck. Double Power Plant, Sanctum, Karn, Ulamog, Scrying, Thragtusk. I think we mulligan that. It's only one Tron piece, no immediate green source of mana. The next hand also is 1 Tron piece. Notably, our opponent has also gone to 6. We're on the draw. So if we draw a Tron land in our first couple draw steps, we have turn 3 Tron. Yeah, I think I'll keep. It's kind of close. Because of the new London Mulligan rule, 5 isn't that bad. Probably just putting a Sphere on the bottom. Because we already have a Sphere and a star. It's either that or Oblivion Stone, I think. One of those two. Oh, yep. Alpine Moon. So that is the hate card. I didn't mention that, but that was one of the cards that we need the Nature's Claims for. Unfortunately, spoiler, we don't have a Nature's Claim in our hand. So we're going to need to now draw one of those. But we have them in our deck, so that feels good at least. Okay. Green mana. Oh, yeah. Don't know that I do that now. Kind of want to scrying now. Sandbag it. Oh yeah, this does produce any color as well. That's actually pretty great. That it produces any color. Because we can use the tower to cast the Nature's Claim. I'm scared now. What's this? What's coming? Devastating Summons. Plus Goblin Bushwhacker. Wow. Okay. That's pretty good. That's pretty darn good. So we can blow this up. Yeah, here's the play. I think it's pretty straightforward. Nature's Claim, Alpine Moon. Then we have our unlocked Tron. We can play a Ballista for 2. Ballista for 2. We're going to pin one of these. I'm going to ping the Legion Loyalist now. That way they don't get that trigger, that battalion trigger. We can now block an elemental. And before the damage, we kill the Bushwhacker. That way we're going to 1. We're able to untap and likely win from here. My only question is whether I'm supposed to Thragtusk or Ugin. So the way we lose if we Ugin is if our opponent has specifically a bolt, but I think we lose that way anyways if we Thragtusk, so it's better to Ugin. Ugin -0 clears the board. Clears these elemental tokens. It means that our opponent basically has 1 turn. They could play Mountain plus a haste creature, or a lightning bolt would kill us. They don't have it. So that is going to be the match. Alright, we are on the play. Unfortunately, we only have 1 land and no sphere or star. So we're on the play, but we pretty much just have to mulligan this. Alright, this one, we have a tower, ghost quarter, a map. So the map can find us a Tron land. This one is close. The London mulligan rule kind of makes me think that we can maybe gamble and go to 5 with this. I'm going to try it. I'm going to try to go to 5. All right. I don't think we can go below 5. I'm not actually sure what to put on the bottom. Stirrings are real good. We don't know if I think I'm gonna put the forest on the bottom. And just kind of gamble that we're gonna find something with the sphere. Between the worm coil and the Karn, super matchup dependent. Which one we would want? I think I keep both stirrings. Think so. I'm not positive, but I think so. All right, I'm gonna put. Which one do we put on the bottom? This is tough. It's really tough not knowing the matchup. All right, I'm gonna put the worm coil on the bottom. We're gonna get to stirrings next turn, and we're gonna get two draws. It'll give us more information about what we're looking for. Probably just Tron lands. Most likely just Tron lands. All right, our opponent's playing Affinity. It looks like. Wasn't prepared for that. Pretty sweet start. Wow. It's a pretty good turn 1. Okay. I'm gonna try to find Tron land. There's a mine. I'm gonna grab that. We do interestingly have a Ghost Quarter. So that's a potential answer to the Ink Moth if we need to go down that route. But right now, I'm just trying to assemble Tron. And I'm not feeling good about the spot at all. In fact, are we just... I don't think we're just dead, but I haven't done the math. I think we can... They can infect us for a bunch. I know that. But not enough. Not nearly enough. And they're not equipping the plating? That's odd to me. Not sure if that was the right line. Be surprised if it was, in fact. Alright. Get another card. Look for power plants. Find power plants. So we actually found the plant. So I'm going to play the Ghost Quarter here to give us insurance against the Ink Moth. So it's going to mean our opponent's going to have to do a little bit more work to kill us. And if we draw Oblivion Stone or something like... Oblivion Stone would be probably... would be really good. I'm interested to see what our opponent's going to do here. I assume that they just equip like an Ornithopter or something. It's super weird that they did not use the plating at all last turn. I guess they were maybe just assuming they can win with Ink Moth. So we're gonna be forced to use the... They're basically forcing the Ghost Quarter. Is what this does. Affinity with 2 basic lands in play. Don't see that every day. So now the question is, does our opponent start also sacking things to the Ravager? I guess they're just content with only dealing us 1. Do they not sack the Ink Moth to the Ravager? Oh, because they wanted the land. That kind of makes sense. Okay, well, we're playing the Karn that we kept in our hand. And we have another one. So I can take out the plating. Which I think might be just correct. It's either that or the Ravager, right? If we go Ravager... Yeah, I'm going to go plating. I think. What if we were to go Ravager? I don't know what actually happens. Not sure I want to know what happens. Like they modular onto something. We're gonna go plating. I think going plating here is right. We can still draw into stuff, and they do still have to kill off. They're gonna kill off the Karn. The problem is that the second Karn, I mean, it's just a 7 mana destroy a thing, which is not gonna get it done really. We need Oblivion Stone. I think we need Oblivion Stone. Although, even then, I guess they do have this Blinkmoth Nexus. So we're still in a problematic position. Okay, that was actually a really sweet draw because it allows us to play Ulamog. So I'm just going to jam Ulamog. I forgot to mention Urza's Tower as an out here. So we have this Ulamog cast trigger on the stack. The question is, what are we targeting? The Blinkmoth Nexus. I kind of want to go after Ravager. Although that does leave Signal Pest. Well, we want to get rid of the Steel Overseer, I think we have to get rid of. And then... it's probably just the Ravager. Yeah. I think it's probably just Ravager and Steel Overseer. So our opponent can sack a bunch of things to the Ravager. I haven't done the exact math. 5. Yeah, we're not just dead. We're definitely not just dead. I don't know how many things they're gonna sacrifice to the Ravager. Could pop the Opal onto it. But I like our spot now because we can next turn we can Karn minus whatever our opponent puts these counters on. Probably just an Ornithopter, I would guess. Guess they're going Signal Pest. I think they probably should have gone Ornithopter with the counters. So they can deal us 8, I think, if I've done math correctly. No, 9. I think it's 9. With the Nexus activation, 2, 3, 4 plus the 5 here. 9 is very different than 15, though. Now, the weird thing about this situation is that Ulamog is not necessarily a turn 2 clock. We can attack with it, but our opponent still has 47 cards left in their deck. Stirrings is nice, though. And this Stirrings for more info. Stirrings did not get there. Relic of Progenitus off the Stirrings. So we can play and sack that and still cast the Karn. Ooh. That is a good one. I think that is going to be our play for next turn. Assuming we are, hopefully we're still playing, we're still playing next turn. We don't die somehow. So I'm going to Karn minus on Pest. And then yeah, just get in there. Get in there, Ulamog. With the Ballista, we probably can set up a win next turn. We see the exiled cards here. Interesting. Main deck dispatches. It's actually an answer to Ulamog. Exiles a creature. But I think we've got this. Even a plating... I don't think this is enough. Maybe our opponent... So they can sack the Citadel. That's 2... Is that 5? They can go Citadel to the Ornithopters, 3, 4. I believe they only put us to 1, which kind of sucks for our opponent because I think they missed damage earlier. So it's possible we should have lost this game. But instead it appears that we will win. I believe if I've done the math correctly, everything lines up as it hopefully does. And keep in mind, going back to the opening hand, this was 5 cards. I believe this was a 5. And our opponent had a, pretty sweet draw from this Affinity deck. We've gotten some fortunate breaks, but still. I've already done this math, so we're just going to let our opponent realize what's going to happen here. So this is going to attack Karn. So Karn, so they're preventing us from being able to use the Karn. Okay. 26 cards left in our opponent's deck. I think we have this, but let's see. So we play... It may not be an auto win this turn. We play the Ballista. We can force sacrifices from the Ravager. I think that's what I want to do. But the first thing is to play the Sphere, because we have enough mana to play it and pop it. So I'm going to do that. Don't think Wormcoil changes anything. So we play play the Ballista with 5 counters. We can go ping on Ravager, they sack Citadel, then we ping again, they sack Ornithop. Yeah, I think this works. So we ping, they sack Citadel, we ping. Then they can sack Ornithopter. Yeah, this is gonna work for us. I guess their best bet at this point is to just modular onto an Ornithopter. So they can technically survive if they had done that. Now, I believe our opponent's just dead because we go ping again. Now they're going to try to put these counters on. So what they could have done to survive the turn was to not sacrifice any Ornithopters. Because we only could ping. It would have. I mean, they still die on the next turn. But anyways, pretty interesting game there. Ended up going in our favor. I'm going to board in World Breaker. Spatial Contort. World Breaker is nice. It's got reach and it's a removal spell. So it's actually better than Karn. It's better than Karn in this matchup. We want our Nature's Claims and our Gut Shots. Gut Shot is good here as well. So we're boarding in a lot. Taking out Relics and Ugin. And Worm Coil is not that good. Karn is also not great for what it's worth. I wonder if our opponent keeps in those dispatches that we saw. Those are actually answers to Worm Coil. Like, Worm Coil is bad if the opponent has a Ravager. I can take one Karn out on the draw. It's not terrible to do that. I'll try that. All right. Yeah, this is a keep. Got one of each. Not one of each. We got 2 different Tron lands plus a sphere, which produces a green. Ballista is potentially removal. And then Nature's Claim is pretty important against Affinity. So if our opponent drops a plating, we probably want to be claiming. Steel Overseer, we might want a Ballista. I think I'm going to do that. Or now we could scrying to have Tron next turn, but that would allow our opponent to activate the Steel Overseer, which is pretty risky. And probably not what we want to have happen. I guess the big question here is to keep the Nature's Claim or to keep the Ballista. I'm going to keep the claim. Our opponent could technically have a card like a Damping Sphere where we would really need it. So I think it's right to keep it. Our hand is pretty good. We can scrying next turn. And we're not under a tremendous amount of pressure here. In fact, we're still at 20 going to 19. Like, that's not going to do it. So, crack for green. That's good. Scrying. Finds us the tower. I maybe should just play the Oblivion Stone out. Can pop it next turn. Yeah. I'll do it. Not positive if playing it or waiting on it is better, but if somehow our opponent has an artifact removal spell, this is worse. But Damping Sphere, they did have Damping Sphere, so we're really happy to have the Nature's Claim that we have, and that's probably just going to be game over. Yeah, I'm just going to use it right now. Claim on Sphere unlocks the Tron lands. So I'm just going to activate. Blow up. It blows up these 4 cards, only leaves our opponent with that Bleakmoth Nexus. We can also Stirrings, so why not? Stirrings finds a Karn. And that's going to be another match. Alright, so here we are on the draw, and here's the hand. Here's the hand. We have 3 copies of Urza's Power Plant in our hand. Chromatic Star, Stirrings, Scrying, and Wormcoil Engine. This is a weird one. It's a weird one. Because obviously the 3 power plants is real bad. The rest of the hand, however, is pretty decent. So I think I keep. Like we can turn 3 this Wormcoil if we just draw another Tron piece. Oh, this could actually be good for us, Burning Inquiry. Maybe we'll discard a power plant. No, we did not. Did not discard a power plant. Oh. Well, that's rough. In fact, our hand seemed to get worse. Because we don't have that Chromatic Star, we can no longer make green mana. So we're playing against the Hollow Boys, the Hollow 1. We need to find a non-Urza's Power Plant Tron land to enable this turn 3 Wormcoil Engine. I would be happy if our opponent Burning Inquiries. That gives us more draws to it. I don't think they're going to play another Burning Inquiry, but I mean, they didn't discard that well off of the first one either. They pitched a Hollow 1. Could be a Gurmag. Yeah, Gurmag Angler. Gurmag Angler. Phoenix in the graveyard as well. And we bricked off. We bricked off, and that might be all she wrote for this one. Goblin Lore. Alright. Our opponent's not returning those Phoenixes. That's the only good news. We actually just have to play this mine out. Because if we play the forest, that means we're not getting Tron for sure next turn. Whereas if we play the mine, we still have a chance to Tron on turn 4. And if we do Tron on turn 4, we can play Ugin. Which might... We can play Ugin or Wormcoil. So we did. We found the Tron. We did get there with the Tron. Now the question is, which one of these do we play? Now I'm leaning towards Wormcoil, actually. I think it's probably right to play Wormcoil. We would lose to double Lightning Bolt. But our opponent only has one Blood Crypt in play. So there's not that much that we're losing to. Double Lightning Bolt is the most obvious way we would lose. But I think we're going to win. Especially now. Especially now. I kind of want to just Ugin wipe these, but I could also just play Ulamog. Both seem probably game winning. So I'm not positive which one is right, but I'm gonna go with Ugin -7. And that was it. That was it. Seemed like at the start we were going to lose. I really thought we were, but we didn't. So that's good. All right, sideboard time. The surgicals are pretty interesting here. I don't love them. I mean, getting rid of like a Phoenix or Bloodghast is not irrelevant. You can actually shave... We can cut the Ballistas entirely. We can shave one Karn. On the draw. Thragtusk... Both Thragtusk and Worldbreaker have merit. In fact, I like those. I'm gonna go down to 2 Karns. 1 Ulamog. And then the Nature's Claims, they get rid of a turn 1 hollow one. We can also cut on some Oblivion Stones. It's kind of hard to know how many to cut. I guess I'm going to leave 2 in. Keeping in everything else here seems fine. Like, I think we boarded in 2 surgicals. We have 1 in our hand. We're going to keep this. Once again, surgical is not... It's not insane in the matchup. But it's not bad either. I never know exactly how many to board in. That's the best. That's their best turn 1 play. Besides a bunch of hollow ones. Alright, so we're suited. We have the turn 3 Tron. The question now is, how much damage is this Flameblade Adept going to deal us? Wow, so we can surgical something. We don't know if our opponent has another land, I guess. So is it better to surgical the Bloodghast or the Phoenix, the Flamewakes? That's the question. It's a good question. I mean, the fact that the Phoenix has haste is pretty relevant. So I'm gonna go for that one. Okay. So we also get to see how our opponent's sideboards. They have a Bolt in hand, which is bad. Looks like they boarded in a bunch of Thoughtseizes. And they also have that looting in the graveyard. Okay. So we're taking 10. Or no, we're not taking 10. We're taking 4. We're going to 14, so we're still in it. That's actually pretty good. I don't see a reason to wait. We're going to Nature's Claim regardless. We're going to claim that now. I think we want to use the sphere next turn to cast this Thragtusk. So this could be a looting. Looting allows our opponent, but yeah, allows them to hit for 5. I definitely feel confident that getting rid of the Flamewakes over the Bloodghast was correct, for what it's worth. Thragtusk, just the flying part of the Flamewake is pretty big, even though now naturally there's another Bloodghast in the graveyard. This game is still pretty close. Ooh, Street Wraith. Okay. Well, gotta do it. Unfortunate, but that's pretty much what we got right now. Now, a really weird play that could come up is we can Ghost Quarter our own land if we're desperate. Okay, but anyways, we're in a Burning Inquiry. That's gonna mean we're pretty close to being just dead. Can't block the Flame Blade, so we go to 4. But we can cast this Worm Coil. So, yeah. Maybe we're not dead. Maybe we're going to win. Come on, Worm Coil. Do your thing. I think we might win. We may win on the back of Worm Coil Engine. Yep. Opponent passes. We attack. Just going to be super safe. Attack with 1 Worm Coil. And I think we're going to win. I'll still play correctly. Play the sphere. Get a green. Oh. Huh. All the Worm Coils are entering the battlefield, and that is the map. Okay, so here we are on the draw. Mine, Double Sphere, Relic, Wormcoil, Ugin, Scrying. I think this is a mulligan. Only one Tron land. We could just brick off on our next land. Alright, no lands at all. So we're going to 5 cards. Our 5 is also pretty bad. Power Plant, Stone, Ugin, Sphere, Relic. It's pretty hard to get to Tron with this one. I'm going to try 4. Okay. Well, we're going to keep our 4. We're going to keep our 4. And we're going to try to do some stuff with what we got. So I'm just going to get rid of the big cards and focus on trying to get Tron. Looks like we will be playing against a blue-red deck of some sort. Wonder if this is Storm. Could be Storm. Yeah, we're playing in Storm. Desperate Ritual. Desperate Ritual. What is going on here? Are they just going off? Empty. Okay. Turbo empty the Warrens. Get 6 goblins. So can we beat that? Can we beat that is the question. I think we cycle through another time because we might have to use the stirrings to try to find a tower, but if we do, then we want another draw to give us more information. And now I think we do it. We find a tower, we just have to take tower. Regardless of the other cards. Did not find tower. Which makes it a tough decision. We don't really want Karn. The Wormcoil is good if we can cast it. Real good if we can cast it, say, next turn, Wormcoil. That would require naturally drawing Tron. However, the map would allow us to have Tron in 2 turns, but then, I don't know that that's good enough. This is, to me, a pretty tough choice. I'm going to take the map. Very, very low confidence level on that. I feel like it's one of those things where I feel like whatever I do, it's going to go wrong. It's going to go horribly wrong. I feel like whichever one I chose there. Sometimes you just get these feelings. I mean, if I find the tower and play Ballista, not the worst. Didn't find it. So I'm just gonna play this map that we found off this stirrings. Get tower the next turn. Doesn't feel great. We're taking another 6 from the goblins. Is this gonna be a ritual plus gifts? It appears so. Our opponent is down to 1 card in hand after this. So we're basically at effectively 8 after the attack. Choose 2 cards to put into the graveyard. I think it's just the rituals. Maybe Manamorphose is better than a ritual. Yeah, maybe Manamorphose is better than a ritual. Definitely putting 1 ritual in the graveyard. Yeah, I'm going to go Ritual Manamorphose. That means they have Past in Flames, Pyretic Ritual, and 1 unknown. So I don't think they can go off immediately. Maybe I should have put the... Actually, maybe I should have put the Past in Flames in the graveyard. In case I draw Relic. Next turn, they might be able to get us. I'm just gonna... I think I'm just gonna cycle the Chromatic Star. Because if we were to find Relic, we would want to play it. Didn't find it, so... Just play a big Ballista, potentially just die on the next turn. Not to the goblins, but to the in-hand cards. If our opponent just has a land, they can ritual. Yeah, they have enough mana. They have enough mana to do some stuff, at least. They don't have a mana creature in play yet. So I wonder what I'm supposed to do here. Block a goblin. I mean, I'm just going to block a goblin. I'm just going to take that. That way we can at least ping a Electromancer Baral. Don't expect to get lightning bolted, but if we do, we do, whatever. Without a creature, they can ritual, cast Past in Flames. Or they can ritual, cast Past in Flames, and then start ritualing again. They can play the 4 rituals. Or five rituals in the graveyard. And then Gifts Ungiven. We'll see. See what our opponent can do if they actually have the win. They're able to cast Grape Shot or any burn spell here. That is definitely lethal. They could just empty the Warrens again. It may be that our opponent's just going to empty the Warrens based on these ops. If they do that, we have an out to draw Ugin or Oblivion Stone. It's a lot of mana. But I think they're going to have to empty and hope, which it's a lot of... They're making, like, what, like 20 more tokens? So our ballistas cannot handle all of the tokens. Okay, they're not doing that. So I don't know what our opponent's hand is. This is interesting. Gonna gifts and given instead. Well, we have to put any grape shots, any burn spells. Burn spells go straight to the graveyard. Or ways to get them. Any burn goes to the graveyard. But I wonder if our opponent's just going to end up casting this empty eventually anyways. Like if we give them 2 rituals, then they just can go ritual, empty. Put 2 cards into the graveyard. I will select Grape Shot and Desperate Ritual, I think. Yeah, gonna go with Grape Shot and Desperate Ritual. So now our opponent's not killing us this turn, but they potentially can still next turn. Because they can Past in Flames. Ooh. Wow. That is a draw. Is there any chance we have lethal damage? I don't think so. We can't make this into a 10-10. So we play this tower. We have 6/12 mana. So it's not... There's no lethal. So I think we just play this other Walking Ballista and the Relic. And then if our opponent plays the... they play the Past in Flames from their hand, we can then Relic in response to that. So this makes 10 mana. We would have to have the Relic up. I don't think sacking the Relic is good. Because then if our opponent's... Actually, sacking the Relic here isn't the worst. I probably shouldn't have played the tower already if I was going to do that, though. But just sacking the Relic gets rid of the Past in Flames in the graveyard. Which is definitely relevant. Like, it's pretty hard for our opponent to combo off. They would need... They would need a lot of stuff that they probably don't have. And I kind of want to just make the Ballista as big as possible. Like, I want the Ballista for 5. I can if I hold up Relic. I don't know. I'm going to play Relic. I'm gonna pop it, I think. Could be loose. Hopefully it doesn't cost me the game. Oh, wow. Hello. Okay. We're going to play Ugin. Ugin 0. Just bash. Not the worst turn there. I think it's tough for our opponent to win. I think we're in a... Yeah, I mean, they could win. They have a lot of cards in hand, but it's tough for them to win. So the question now, they probably have a gift, so we're definitely going to try to kill them if possible. I'm going to start by pinging. So we have access to 14 mana. So we can try to win with just the Ballista in play. Rather than casting this one, which could get remanded, we're going to try to win with this. We can pump... What we can try to do is pump it 3 times. Then our opponent takes they would take 7, and then we can ping after damage. So I guess I'm just gonna do it all. Maybe I should have passed priority there in case they had the bounce. Maybe that was bad. Maybe that was bad. Yeah, I think that was bad. Like, I could have pumped one less time, maybe. So I guess I'm just gonna go for the full pingage, because we have the other Ballista. So if we untap and cast it and resolve it, we win. We have 14 mana. So now our opponent has to try to go off. They don't seem to be able to. So Ulamog would allow us to exile 2 lands. I don't think that's what we want to do. I think we're just trying to kill our opponents. I guess I don't need to max out on the Ballista. So how many should I do it for? We have 14 mana. So if I Ballista for 3, yeah, Ballista for 3. Because that way if it gets remanded, yeah, this is perfect. I can Ballista for 3. If this resolves, great. If it doesn't resolve, we can replay it. Since it resolved, we have 8 mana, so we can play through a bounce spell, put a +1/+1 counter on it. And then yeah, I think this is just game. put that additional counter on for good measure. Interesting. Interesting. Wow. That was quite the game. I'm glad I'm getting some good games in with this deck. That's for sure. All right. Weirdly enough, we didn't see any creatures from our opponent that game, although we have to assume that our opponent's playing them. We didn't... I don't think we saw fetch lands. I'm trying to think. If our opponent's... Is our opponent playing Blood Moons? Because if they're on Blood Moons, we definitely want the Nature's Claims. I don't know that most lists are playing Blood Moons. That's something I should know. I apologize that I don't off the top of my head. I think we want Thought Knots and some surgicals. Like surgicaling Past in Flames is pretty good if you do it at the right moment. Oblivion Stone. So the thing is that a lot of times they go on the empty plan. So I'm just going to board in 2 surgicals to go with the relics. And then cut some Oblivion Stones. Can shave a Worm Coil or 2. Ballista actually isn't that... It's weird. It's weird that Ballista won us that game. It's not that great. In this matchup, it's fine. Alright, I'm going to try this. Certainly may make changes based on what I see. In this game, if we go to a game 3, wow. Triple power plant hand. Again, this one I think we mulligan. We don't have green mana for the scryings. Alright, so 1 land, which is a tower, double ballista, surgical, map, Thought Knot Star. We could put the ballista on the bottom, which we probably would. Yeah, alright. I guess I can try this. Ballista on bottom. On 6. Not great. I think it's pretty close with the new mulligan rule to whether or not to go to 5 on with this one. If we play the map, we can gamble to hope to hit a Tron piece. I think I'll do that. We might brick. We might just lose and look really silly for keeping this. Could just snap off the surgical on the ops. Probably wrong to do so, but worth mentioning. Yes, indeed they do play creatures. Okay, alright. So they're gonna get to cantrip a little bit. That's not a huge deal. Are they missing this land drop too? Wow. If that's the case, we can just play the Karn. Wow. So you get the power plant. I'm just playing Karn here and getting rid of the... It's either getting rid of the Ballista or getting rid of the Shivan Reef. I mean, not the Ballista, the Brawl. I meant to say Brawl. I think that's right, to get rid of the Brawl. Still not surgicaling. That's kind of why the hand is... The card is weird, surgical, in the matchup, because it's pretty tough to know when you want to use it. But I assume they have no lightning bolts, so Karn's sitting in play is exactly what we want. In fact, our opponent's going to pass. So I think the first thing I want to do is tick Karn up. In case our opponent has like a bounce effect. I guess unsubstantiate maybe doesn't okay, it's wipe away. So they did have a bounce effect. That's funny. They did have a bounce effect. Okay. Tap the tower, try to cast the star. I think we try to Thought Knot. And see how our opponent reacts to it. Okay, so they're going to ritual. And this could be a gifts, which I think this is a pretty good spot for us because we have the surgical. So if they put past, we can put the past in flame. We can get rid of their past in flames, and that's probably game over. Yeah, so choose 2 cards to put into the graveyard. Past in Flames and Anamorphose. I'm only doing that because we have the surgical. If we didn't have the surgical, I would put the Past in Flames in our opponent's hand. Not really that much going on here. I guess I can take Grape Shot. Surgical the Past in Flames. Alright, so we get to look at our opponent's deck. It appears that was the only copy of Past in Flames. Alright. Bunch of pieces of the puzzle. One empty, yeah. Alright. I think I want to Ancient Stirrings here. Ancient Stirrings gets us Ulamog for next turn. And we can just play this Ballista out. So pretty much perfect. Perfect turn. And I don't think our opponent has any way of coming back. I mean, they're going to have, what, one land here? I'm just going to get rid of some of these lands. It's a pretty good board state, and that was the match and the league. I did go 5-0 in that competitive league. So thank you for watching. Sweet games. And yeah, turns out Tron is still good, especially with this London mulligan rule.